It is a beautiful day for some exciting Valorant over at Q Club, ladies and gentlemen, and the action starts right here, right now. Eid Mubarak to all the Valorant gamers out there, and welcome to the Dubai Police Game Save Tournament, where we'll crown the best Valorant team on LAN and the kings of the server. My name is Dad Femina, and I'm with the legendary Caster JT. And are you not excited, man? This is the first time that we'll be tandeming together in what seems to be a beautiful tournament and one heck of a banger, right?
Always the question is, how can these two teams play up against each other in a map that is Pearl? And by the way, do you like Pearl?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the fun maps that I like to play with my stack. It's one of those ascent-like maps that I would consider to be very defaulty, but in a sense, it's more dynamic compared to what players are used to when they play Ascent. You still have the same mid-default setup, but instead of it converting towards mid-market as fast as possible, the default A-short setup that a lot of teams like to put forward when they're on the attacking side, they have to fight for those link positions, the connectors, and all the bells and whistles before they can convert over to the A side extremity. I mean, that's the kind of beauty that the CT side actually has a benefit for themselves. They can fight for these link positions instead of the long range angle B main setup, or at least another corner to turn around when they're on the A side push. But that's the beauty about Pearl. It's more dynamic, it's more refreshing, and a lot more room for team play, especially when you're on the attack, where I believe Sick have a really good shot at handling right now.
Well, you could see a big difference on agent composition wise. But with that said, let's just get on to the game right now. As the B side is up for the taking, Benzo getting the first blood here. With Breach falling down, TZX getting ready for the flash, but not going to be able to choose to do that because they're playing rather slow. Especially since they were able to get that first kill. Still biding his time here, hoping to see someone to pick, and Benzo again with another. That is two on his name. Knife out, buddy, not what you want to do, but goes in for the flash, wants to get the kill, but he has to be a bit more careful there, as Problem Crooks able to get that one. They're trading it back and forth, 3-on-2, and Benzo, his aim has been very precise, tags down El Processor quite a bit, but behind, they're getting sandwiched. Benzo with a triple, and a knife kill? No way, you're not gonna go for the knife, will you? Nope, the answer is no. That is going to be the first round for United Nations.
Bit of an unfortunate ordeal for Sick, since they needed that one room for Waku Waku to entry on, but because the breach was already taken out of the picture so early into the fight, an aggressive CT setup for United Nations just halted any sort of aggressive attempt out for Sick, where it's the normal jet or normal raise and breach combo where you set up Waku Waku, still tries to do his best to wiggle around that B main side, but it's just bangs after bangs after bangs for United Nation. They push towards B main. They even have a double flank set up before they can even regroup with Interlude. That's two quick kills or in the exchange of Prob and Crux. All in left for the three players on Sick. They tried to regroup themselves over at A main. That was a pretty hefty setup towards mid, but United Nations, they still have the bigger numbers of the.
Yes, they do. They have the numbers advantage. They also have the gun advantage. It is going to be their bonus round, so obviously the chance of them winning is rather high compared to the opposing team here, SYK. More or less, if you're going to be like, I guess, on the back end of things, you just want to plant or at least reduce the guns here from the opposing team. But the shot there from TZX, making it work one after another. They crumble as the cookie is into shambles. United Nations 2-0, but this time SYK, they have their guns.
Yeah, I mean, quick and easy pistol round. It was a valid effort to control mid. It's the double setup that they needed to push towards that art position, but again, the better guns just favoring the way of United Nations, and they can just leave Xenox to have that setup before SYK could control that A main. They don't have the best of guns before, but now they do. They have the firepower. They can fight back and maybe leave Waku Waku together with the breach to control that mid side. But they all want to put all their eggs in one basket. And I kind of respect that. Overwhelm one side of the map towards the CT side and possibly get an opening. But because they're playing the passive game, they're letting themselves flow in towards the CT side as SYK. They've been faltered. The push towards mid was threatened by Interlude and the Molly, while TZX actually lurking towards that shop area. And James Bond and Provincrux, they don't have any inkling of this whatsoever. The peek out, and they'll see one and possibly four people. They're all hurtling on towards door. That's a triple. 3 kills for United Nations. Any sort of engagement, but what turnaround. United Nations, they have faltered every single opponent on the SYK side.
They were really forcing out a mid, but United Nations with their utilities, with the Viper, they're slowing them down. They couldn't really enter towards where they wanted to go from. Interlude just holding it down, and they waited for the moment to strike from TZX, from behind, and he gets the perfect opportunity, and he just crumbled. They had a hard time. You don't really know what's best for them on attacking, and now that they lost out on this, it seems like this could be another round they're gonna lose. As T6, he's just look at that discipline, waiting for them to enter to his arms, even gonna use a flash, trying to hold himself up apart. But will he be able to survive? Yes, he will. With a ace already in round number 4. United Nations not faltered to any pressure.
I mean, enjoying the game. That's the name of it for United Nations. TZX. You remember this guy as the scary Phoenix main, the duelist that will be heralded as the king. Well, he has not had his crown just yet. He is starting with a bang. An ace towards B main and a strong statement towards SYK. A beautiful start towards their first half and possibly so a snowball into effect. SYK though, they're going to be unwavered with this attempt. Another push onto B main. The same setup that they had before. TZX though, he's again demolishing the push before it even happens. He uses that run it back just so he could get more info. But because of that, that rotates everybody out from United Nations. This is not looking like a good setup for SYK.
And you know what's funny? You're full of confidence when you're peeking it out. 4-0, and that's what they're doing. Although this time, Waku Waku answering back as United Nations may finally be in trouble. Never mind, TZX getting one, getting another. Make that quad. Could go for another ace here if he wants to. And the opportunity is there. Another ace. Back to back. TZX. This guy, too hot for this server.
10 kills in a row, and this Phoenix is just too hot on his heels, no pun intended. Nothing to stop him in his tracks. No pressure at all from the breach. And again, the usage of the run it back, it just confirms where everybody else on SYK are. There was no attempt at all of even regaining control over mid. They commit towards B for 2 rounds in a row. And that makes it easy to predict while everybody else on United Nations, they had the setup as well on the defense, but they never needed to use that anyway. The push out again for the Phoenix just has to be punished, required out of the breach. But again, everybody else on SYK, they punish towards a main. TZX starts off with a strong opening onto breach. And that's not looking good again for their T side. Playing off a position, waiting for the perfect moment as Quid, he trades off a double kill from the Fade. And finally, the Phoenix doesn't light up the server. It's actually the Initiator that gets the triple kill instead. Waku Waku, though, expecting the peek out and eliminates Quid as long as he punishes. But Interlude decides to put the final nail in the coffin for this round. United Nations, 6 rounds in a row, JT. They have not faltered, and they are not stopping anytime soon.
They are definitely not stopping out. I mean, you would expect, right, a double duelist and a dual duelist lineup in general, right? They're not entirely like a defending type of centric lineup. They're more on the attacking side, the offensive side. But instead, you don't even really feel that they're even defenders. They've been rotating around, catching them or SYK off guard one after another, and it seems like SYK they're stuck in their minds without understanding on figuring out how do we crack the code that is United Nations, because whatever they keep throwing at them, they're faltering and faltering bad as Xenox. They're just getting kills. They're just pushing sides. They're not even afraid.
Yeah, no hesitation. Looks like Benzo is just feeling the momentum built up by the Phoenix Viper, though it claims a cheeky double kill. That could be a really good shot, but unfortunately, 3 picks in a blink of an eye. The duelist is doing so much work, and even if the Phoenix is doing a lot of the work here, I like that everybody else on the United Nations is just doing a lot of good damage as well to SYK, just pushing towards any single part of the map. Double A main push from one of the previous rounds for the side of United Nations, plus that condition that they have been forced off outside of B main for multiple rounds in a row just makes them hesitate to even gain real estate around that side of the map anyway. That's why I'm looking at Waku Waku. I'm looking at the breach to try to initiate any sort of map control anywhere else on the map and try to punish the mistake that this Phoenix has been going for them. It got a shot in one of the rounds here, and possibly this one, because the Marshal already found out where the Phenom is right here, right now. And if they can build off of that, then possibly this could be the first round of the making for SYK.
Definitely, and Waku Waku, you were talking about he needed to make a play, need to do something for his team, but Fiendla is Squid and Benzo stopping them at their tracks. Breach though, with that Marshall up against the operator, makes it work for his team. But regardless of that, Interlude hiding on the corner, will they check it? That is the main question. They want to go for the Viper spit. They're gonna be able to use it. Still Interlude on towards the side, goes in for the peak, gets one down, looking for another, and the damage has been done. Bring it back to a 2-on-2.
This is the best setup for
Wait.
them because they eliminated the Viper's pet, but they need to take care of the tactical J lockdown very far in towards B main now. It's the flank and Quid.
Oh,
Oh, the peek out! He denies James Bond and his ultimate. All down to the 1v1. It's Quid. He gets taken his head clean off. But Vin Crux, a clutch, a 1v2, and their first round win on the board. Finally, after what seemed to be a slaughter out from United Nations, SYK found their first round and possibly a second one, known that they needed another mental reset towards the mix. It was a very costly round for both teams, but now that the Viper has thrown a lot of damage towards United Nations, this is a lot of trouble, and they recognizes they need to make this count again.
yeah, I mean, looking on how things have been going, this might be, I guess, a start that would work for SYK. They need to keep the roll or the ball rolling in towards their favor. Probably Crooks did wonderful on that regard, but in terms of United Nations, losing a round isn't necessarily going to stop them, right? I mean, maybe don't be
Yeah.
as cocky as you
Only
are, but so far, SYK, they need to add more into the mix. As you can tell, this timeout will definitely be a good breather for them to reorganize your thoughts, reorganize your strategy as a team, as a unit, and to communicate to one another because communication.
uh, well, another round possibly thrown in the bag. SYK, they need to build again, rebuild, rethink everything, start to finish. They have to reshape their form. So far, hasn't looked the best out from their T side itself. Again, the B main push wreaked havoc while breach. That's the one operator finding Benzo with a good flash. That's a kill from TZX, but that's the only damage that he's done so far in the round. SYK, second round into the mix. Tried and tested breach operator has actually put in a lot of value. And Peacocks from the B main side. United Nations, they're shaking. TZX still carrying with 16 kills. And they got a lot of ultimates to work on through. So this B main push could mean a lot of danger towards the side of United Nations. SYK need to make this count. It's the shot from TZX that gets the second frag in the round. Nothing. Oh no. That's a really bad start. Plus, they already given up a lot of A main space. The push shot for Quid, this is at best only one kill, possibly. Does he actually get himself one? Because he doesn't even push out towards a lobby. But now that he peeks out, he will find three, four people into the mix from SYK. With another shot after Quid, he only gets one onto James Bond. But Waku Waku, good shot towards our refrag. A side is open for them, but not enough to equalize towards that A site push, waiting for the Phoenix to strike on from A link. TZX, that's one, and he's ready with the flash, possibly to.
Yeah, I'll do. Wait, the user rolling thunder already? He did have his ultimate up and running, and seems like it's gone now. So SYK, it seemed like the bit more than they can chew there on that side. Nonetheless, though, Breach finding an opening, bringing it back to a 3-on-2, make it that a 1-on-3. And it doesn't seem like it's gonna stop here. As Jet left alone to
Yeah.
our own devices, what can you do for your team? 8-2 though, still not something to worry about as much, but expect to get peaked by every single one of them. Gonna go for the op shot. Ah, he does not hit it. And only time is off the essence. Gonna try his best, but they're not peeking. They're not biting. They're just waiting for the opportunity to hear that spike getting defused. They have the stun, the concuss, but it's not gonna work out. He gets one, but will he find the other? Time is ticking here. The spike is getting low. He needs to find a kill, but I believe he dies here on the end by Breach with that Vandal.
What are these are pretty interesting rounds because in a lot of these situations, they've been getting themselves a lot of aggressive rushes over at B that started with a pretty preserved default from every single sector of the map. It started on the A main push, Quid with an aggressive operator peak from one of the previous rounds, and it still doesn't dissuade the fact that United Nations are still willing to push out and fight for these aggressive map sectors. B main, whether it will be around A lobby, back towards B, where again they started with that aggression. They have been losing a couple of rounds where they have been losing the long range gunfights, but towards this, they're not even scared at all. It's the same setup, the default out from the Killjoy, with four people peeking on down. That's an aggressive rush. And where is the Phoenix? He's holding down screens, just trying to rely on that one Viper smoke that will make them think twice. As TZX, he's still waiting, unwavering. Quid with that one shot to James Bond. That would be more than enough. But TZX, he just playing with their food right now. United Nations, they get the 9-3 and possibly a blessing, not a 9-3 curse.
Definitely, no one wants to be in the 9-3 curse. Everybody hates that. But judging on how their performance has been going on so far, this is their time to shine. Double duelist setup, and this is what they're supposed to be really strong at, right? Attacking. And we saw on their defending side, it almost felt like they were attacking themselves. 21 kills, by the way, on TZX, and he's been playing phenomenal. And I don't think they have truly stopped the essence that is DZX.
Yeah. I mean, TZX has been a phenomenal player so far. All throughout this CT half, they have been they've been played like a fiddle. Every single B main push, he has always had really good multi-frags, but this time he's the aggressor. Now they push their buttons. A double peek out after the flash, but Benzo will be good for two, opening up B main and eventually reaching on top of heaven just to surprise the peek out, especially onto the two sentinels, but they already expect him. Right clicks up for Probin Crux and decides to retake against 4 people on United Nations. But what more can they do? TZX and Interlude have locked themselves outside of heaven. James Bond left all alone. A 1v4 for 007. But as he peeks, he gets denied. A double kill for TZX and a win Nations.
Oh, this is gonna bite SYK in the butt here because that's gonna be the bonus round now on towards United Nations. They're gonna have their guns up and running, and worst case scenario, if you force buy, it's not gonna do you any good at all. But so far, it does almost look like they're gonna force buy here. I mean, I would understand why. If you force buy, you win it, you do tremendously well. But if you don't force buy, it's just gonna be another possible round for United Nations. You don't want to lose more rounds under your name,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's a 50-50, a double-sided sword here. Yeah, we'll see how it will work out.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's like a double-edged blade for them. It could work out, but then again, you realize where we're at, and they have nothing left to lose at this point. Xenox with a judge, he finds Viper, but Provin Crux at least, run and gun, the hit and run, and they're able to run away with a judge in hand. But Quid, he decides to pop in, a ghost in hand, but he relegates himself into 3 kills for the players on United Nations, and they clean up with all 5. 11 round wins for UN and SYK. They're down in the dirt.
I mean, it's almost looking like a RIP SYK unless they pull a magic trick out of this. 11-3. I mean, the 4 spot as well. And it looks like the team communication here is we just have to do what we can. Just buy and see if we can get something out of it. But so far, it's not really the flavor of the day here. It seems like United Nations have been commanding this game from the get-go, not really giving SK or SYK an opportunity as Breach gonna go for the shot. He tags him quite a bit, but not enough for the kill. Still gonna get hurt though through the wall. Not what you like to see for SYK. And you can see TZX just leading the charge here, not afraid to be the man that the team needs for United Nations. Is gonna continue on going forward, but Waku Waku answering back. Viper as well. Benzo, the duelist alone now for United Nations. It's starting to look good for SYK here, Dalfimina.
Yeah, but I mean, he already done his job, and they don't even need to overheat this time around. They can hold down B main. They have destroyed the smoker, and Quid just locking in with that Vandal, but into the loving arms of James Bond, who uses him as bait. Breach with the one-shot interlude pushing in towards Probin Crux, and it's all left up to the Marshal of Breach. 60 HP in a dream, and 1v1 lineups up for Interlude. He doesn't even need to commit to the fight. He's gonna hit that molly. He's gonna wait for the perfect moment as it just lands on the feet of Breach. The clutch for Interlude, the better gun and the better position, the higher ground that wins out in the end.
Yeah, you gotta hate playing up against people who master the lineups, but you have to respect it nonetheless. If you go in a 1v1 situation, it's just so difficult to play up against this type of players. Just because you are forced to be in a position where you have to push them, you can't possibly just block it. Although I do believe you can block a lineup, right? If you bump it with your head. So, but that takes a lot of skill to actually execute. It's not easy. But nonetheless, though, SYK, they're charging in here, Dafimina.
Yeah, they're just trying to make this as fast as possible. They have all their force buys and they're putting all their eggs in one basket, one for one. It's the peek out for Xenox and he makes it work. He finds Breach, an interlude, but follow up with another. Provin Crux, he's blinded off the side of the map. And they want to do this as fast as possible. Speed running towards the next BO1 as James Bond, 007 himself, is left all alone. 1v4 peeked up by TZX and it's done and dusted. 13-3, a quick Pearl game as we start off with a quick bang towards this first game of the players out here. TZX being the duelist that can frag out of his mind, while Benzo is also pulling his own weight, man. The double duelist setup, we have doubted it. It's not the most amount of utility, but if your shots land, then that's when they are at their most potent. Great job for everybody else on their team. And it's a pretty good ordeal, you know, a banger of a first game and a lot more to come, right, JT?
Yes, a lot more to come. That's just the first game. I mean, it was rather one-sided, but as the brackets progressed, games will be much closer to one another. More, or you know what they say, the strongest ones will survive until the very end. And you can tell this competition, it's just gonna go one after another, and I can't wait to see what this tournament has to offer in terms of the players, the talents, and how good can one frag after another. And I believe the next game would be an interesting one to see. Hopefully, we get to see some maps that I would love to see. Bind, I love Bind.
Yeah, yeah. Possibly another Pearl game. I don't really get tired of Pearl, and I don't really get tired of watching any single gunfight. But anyway, we'll be showing you guys the match highlights. It's a pretty fun ride so far,
Hmm.
and I can't wait to check out the second game of our day. Well, we will be coming back with another match as we're just setting up. We are Dad Femina and Caster JT for the Dubai Police Game Save Tournament, and these are gonna be the match highlights. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, in towards the tournament. This is the Dubai Police Game Save Tournament, where we'll have a lot of exciting Valorant action happening on LAN all over at Q Club. And the action starts right here and right now. My name is Dad Femina, and alongside me is Caster JT. We'll be covering the whole tournament, lots of best of ones, and possibly really good best of things that we have for us today, JT.
Yeah, definitely. Best of threes, by the way, just so you guys know, would be the semifinals and the finals. So far, it is the best of one, which is a game of death, because it's scary. You lose, you're out, and that's it. It's goodbye. There's no loser bracket. There's no lower bracket. It's one life, and you need to survive until the very end if you want to get that juicy prize pool money, right? So it
Yeah.
is going to be difficult to climb, but you always have to bring your A game, regardless of whoever you're playing up against. You might be, let's say just a while ago we saw they were up 9-3, but if you start playing shaky, it could happen theoretically reversal sweeps, right? So
Yeah.
you just want to play your best until you reach the goal here, which is winning and being prized the first ever champion of the Dubai Police Game Safe tournament. And with
Yeah.
that said, I am so excited to see what map we're going to be playing on. Hopefully, it's not Pearl again. I mean, I love Ascent. Ascent is more action packed for me just because it's more compact and a very, how do I say this? Straightforward in a sense, right? It's A or B. You can take mid if you like to do so, go mid to A, mid to B. It's very straightforward, but at the same time, it technicality wise, there's so many plays that you can do with one way smokes or on your utility usages, right? So that's the beauty I love on watching Ascent, and I believe a lot of people do love playing Ascent too. So hopefully we get to see it soon.
Yeah, I don't hate on Pearl. For me as a pretty complex map in terms of mechanics and in terms of technicalities. Where yeah, as you mentioned, one way smokes, but you also have to consider like the timings of everything that you want to do. Right, for the past few rounds of that previous game, they have been playing pretty straightforward. Right, from the start of the round, B main pushes after B main pushes. That kind of led to little to no surprise towards the CT side of
Mhm.
things, right? TZX has been carrying throughout that game with a lot of confidence on his side because they have been predicting the movements on the other side of the game. So, really well done for that first team and definitely raising the expectations for everybody else that have to perform at the same level as the players on TZX's team. But this time, man, we're not done here. We have a lot more best of ones for come for you guys.
Mhm.
Just a quick reminder, we would like to thank our sponsors as well. Experience ROG Overkill PCs at Q Club, man. I just want to ask you, have you ever been to Q Club?
Of course. I mean, my first shoutcast was in Q Club. Like my first shoutcast way back 2014, and that's what I love about Q Club. They were hosting esports tournaments when not a lot of gaming cafes were hosting esports tournaments, and they really brought the community together. So I love seeing that they're really broadening their reach here, and until this very day, they still have tournaments happening in Q Club, and that's the beauty of it. And not only that, but they have upgraded their entire setup, the entire venue, the entire yeah, it's not as how it looked like when I first came there. There's so many new
Yeah,
changes in Q Club, and that's the beauty of us. I guess a gaming cafe that really supports the community, that really supports esports as a whole as well. So kudos to Q Club. You guys keep doing you. And if you guys, to the people watching, if you've never been to Q Club, you definitely have to go check it out. They have upgraded their gears. They also have a streamers room, by the way, that's fully stocked with Elgato. I mean, I've been using quite a lot of Elgato. I'm using their mic right now. So definitely good quality setups there. And of course, the best of the best GPUs out in the market is of course equipped in their PCs. Now, with that said though, um, I really want to see something different in this tournament. I don't know what different could be. Maybe five duelists.
no, okay, okay.
I
Whoa, whoa,
mean,
whoa,
I
whoa there.
mean,
No. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
I
whoa,
mean,
man. Calm
I don't know.
down.
I don't know. It could happen. Who knows, right?
I mean,
If they're that
I'm not saying
confident.
I'm not saying I don't want to watch it. I'm
Uh-huh.
just saying it's kind of risky to pull it out at a tournament like this where there's a lot on the line, a lot of
Mm-mm.
money in terms of
Mm-hmm.
cash prize, and I don't feel like I would bet on 5 man duelists to try to win it all for the team. But who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some kind of team will actually pull it out in the end here. I will commend them because it's not the most amount of utility at all. But I will say Neon and Jet, they provide a lot of smokes. That
Yeah.
with a Phoenix, that's a lot of walls too. So maybe
Yeah.
that's more than enough. And on a
Uh-huh.
map like Lotus, I could see that actually happen since there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of active sectors of the map where you can control with fast map control and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of util, like the flashes for Phoenix. Plus, if you have two walls from the Neon, then you're able to secure yourself a pretty fast rubble control. Then you can convert that over to B, where you know what, you were talking about like Pearl. You
Uh-huh.
don't want to play Pearl. Maybe I could play Lotus. Lotus could be a pretty
Uh-huh.
fun map to cast and to watch. We haven't been seeing a lot of Pearl or a lot of Lotus since it is one of the newer maps into the competitive pool, where this is possibly a map that a lot of these teams will try to pick up, and it's just so fun to watch. A lot of these doors to try to cover the sound cues and the footsteps that you can use, make it so that you have fast map secure and not letting your opponents check on what moves they can use against you, right? The
Mm-hmm.
unpredictability factor is the name of the game for a lot of the maps here. That's why I'm really excited to see if they will pull out these newer maps, these newer strats, just so they could get themselves a one up into our tournament so far, JT.
Yep. I think I would give you guys another update. SYP versus Al Karama, which was happening during the SYK versus United Nations. Oh boy, this is crush crushing news. If I'm reading this correctly, 13-0. Is that what
Yeah,
really happened? I mean,
we
I'm
saw it.
like, I'm looking at the brackets and it said 13-0, and I'm like, geez, Louise, there's no way it went 13-0. But regardless of that, though, SYP will be going up, up against AFK Go Next in the next round. Well, Al Karama had to say an early out, an early goodbye. It's time to go back to Karama, guys.
Oh no, man, that'll be unfortunate. Maybe
Mm.
in the next Valorant tournament. Thank you so much.
Yep. Okay. I don't think they heard you, bro, with your
Yeah,
entire spiel.
me neither.
But definitely, it is a good practice to don't overexert too much energy when playing. I mean, I could remember myself back when I was in high school. I played like unhealthy number of hours of RuneScape, Dota. I'll play like 12 hours, 14 hours. I mean, it's a
Ooh.
summer break, but still, you have to go outside, at least go outside, touch some grass, or in we live in Dubai, so maybe touch some sand outside. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be super hot.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
eh,
it's pretty hot
still,
here. I
yeah,
I can imagine how hot it will be over
oh,
there.
yeah, it's scorching hot. But regardless of that, it's nice to go outdoors as well and meet a lot of new people. Meet actual IRL friends like that. But nonetheless, though, gaming in a moderation is something to practice, especially since esports is becoming super mainstream right now, right? Or it is technically mainstream. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
people who really want to be competitive, but at the same time of day, though, don't neglect yourself, and that's the most
Mm,
important thing to do, right?
yeah.
um
Yeah.
with that said, we have gotten information on who would be the next series or best of one that we're going to be watching. It is going to be anti-heroes versus on guard, and this is something that would be interesting to see on how things will go up against these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, they're both pretty strong teams into the mix here, and definitely a lot of Puggy's play styles as well. This is going to be interesting because we already had Pearl as our first map, and that's an indicator of how aggressive some of the stronger teams here will be pulling out. Will we see another double duelist comp? Will we be seeing a little bit of a default setup where a double initiator comp could actually work on a map like Ascent, where that amount of utility can unwaver any sort of defensive setup. That's why KO is one of the agents that I really want to look out for, which is a high ceiling agent. It seems like one of those agents where it's really easy to pick up. You already know the flashes and you know how they work, but you don't really use them to the full extent where you're getting a lot of value out of it, right? That have full understanding of the range and how they use it. That's why I'm looking at that one agent and that one player who can use it to full extent to possibly unlock any sort of potential that a Jet or any sort of fast entry duelist can actually put forward into any sort of matchup. Just the beauty of Valorant compared to any other FPS or any tactical shooter is that it's really unpredictable because of the team comps that will be displayed throughout this tournament. You can have a double duelist comp that will be doubling down on aggression, or you can have a double controller comp who will do the opposite and deflect all of that aggression ahead of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is up to you on how you want to play and how you want to do. Anything is up for grabs. There's no like right way of playing Valorant. It's all about what you can provide and what you can do as a team, as a unit, and what with.
Yeah.
So, with that said, though, to everybody watching us, ladies and gentlemen, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, please do share. And don't forget to leave a follow to see more future events here for 404 Esports. At the same time, to support esports in a Middle East in general, of course. It is an honor to be part of this wonderful tournament from Dubai Police. I don't think everybody saw this coming, and I would never have known that you would also be interested and setting something like this up. So I'm super thankful to see Dubai Police take a step forward for the esports community here in Dubai. And it is an honor to see everybody here as well. I've been seeing people chatting on towards Twitch, but hello, everyone from Twitch. You guys, we see what you are saying. We are not entirely sure on what time we're going to be starting. And I believe we are already in lobby waiting for the players to be ready and waiting for everyone to give a get go on which map we're going to be playing on. So, with that said, you guys are stuck with us. I mean, you guys going to be stuck with us the entire day, to be honest, even until 2 a.m. in the morning. So, I hope you guys don't get tired of us talking and talking and talking. We just talk nonstop.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we're up here to have a wonderful time with each and every one of you.
I mean, it's a podcast. You know, sometimes in between
Mm.
breaks, in between the games, you just gotta enjoy each other's company, enjoy each and every minute that we have for ourselves before we head on into every single game. Let's talk a little bit again about like the game that we had from the previous minute, right?
Mm.
That was a pretty solid 13-2, and you mentioned like a 13-0 slaughter. That's been the case for a lot of tournaments. Where in the very first rounds of our tournament, we have best of ones where there's potential to have really long games, but I think it's good that they're able to sweep away like pretty fast games of that because then they'd have energy for a really long night ahead of themselves and they could preserve that for more strats into the next coming rounds. And this also is a really good segue to how this tournament has been structured, and I really want to touch on that a little bit. We have 24 teams battling it out in a single elimination bracket. They'll need to go through a couple of rounds in BO1 fashion before we can move on to the playoffs, where the best of the best will be playing for all the marbles. A chance at the finals and a shot at glory. We start best of threes over at semifinals, and we'll have two at that before we head on into the finals match. That is one for the books. Caster JT, a lot to look forward for. I'm excited since this is the first time that we had casted together,
Uh
even if
huh.
we've known each other for like a pretty good year. Well, how
Yeah.
is it so far? It's been pretty aggressive. You know, I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if you've ever played in Dubai servers because I did. Um, it's always wacky and fun playing rank, and maybe something, but just generally good vibes. You know, with people you play with, it's gonna be very loud, that's for sure. And I do
Yeah,
enjoy the chaos that is the Dubai server in Valorant because you just don't know what to expect. But nonetheless, I've been having a good time, just playing around people, and because I usually do this thing where I would just shoutcast while playing, and people are like, "Oh my god, bro, that's so cool! What do you cast? Where do you cast?" and all that, and it's always fun to see people's reactions and just have a good time.
yeah,
Like a loss is a loss, and it's fine. You'll get better after. after each loss that you take, right? But nonetheless, I would also like to touch on the topic that you said about
Sure.
crushing enemies immediately and then getting ample amount of time to rest, right? And I think that's very important in a tournament such as this, where it's just one day, a, a slaughter fest, just full on games after games, a very long, I guess, time here for this entirety of the tournament, and you just have to be able to rest and watch possibly the enemies or opponents are going to be up against, right? There's so many potential here that you would like to see what strategy they're playing on a certain map, and then from then on, you try to regroup and talk about, oh, I feel like this is their weakness here. This kind of weak on this aspect. So this gives a lot of time for players to scout out and see what is not working on their end. Or let's say there's a close game and they realize, hey, we're better in this map. We're better than the team that you won up against. So let's pick this map and win this game up against them. I mean, it's the best of one, and it's possible too, right? So that's something like people need to be wary about. That when a team is able to win up against another team so quickly, they have a lot of rest, they have a lot of time to watch and see the opponents that they can possibly play up against, and then strategize from there. So
Mm.
really, it comes to experience and how you yourself for future games.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's like the beauty about like competitive games like Valorant, right? Where it just innovates itself and it just drives the competitiveness out of anybody else, which is also a good segue to what I want to talk about right now. A lot of new features coming out for Valorant and for the future of its competitive scene. I wanted to touch on the premier game mode, which is
Oh,
essentially the Clash game mode from League of Legends that they
uh-huh.
want to put and implement into the Valorant server. Basically, what it is going to be is like, yes, it's Clash, but it will be the replacement for open tournaments or open qualifiers for any VCT. And they want to use that as a scouting ground, any sort of proving ground for any grassroots players that want to reach their highest peak at the competitive scene as a whole. What do you think about that? Because that's really interesting for anybody who wants to be at the competitive level of Valorant.
Honestly, it's all cool and all, like playing competitive for the higher, like if you want to be a breakout star, but more or less for the lower ranks, I think they also want to experience that competitiveness, and for them to even give it a chance to play up against people similar in their level, and then get that competitive feeling. Yeah, they may not be very good at aiming, right? Let's say bronze elo or what, but being able to have that environment where they can just enjoy and have fun and compete week after week. I think this is amazing to have in the game in
Yeah.
general, right? Because this will not only make the game much more healthy in competitive aspects, but it could technically also bring people to want to get better at the game too. When you get that taste of competitiveness up against similar elos, you want to improve yourself as well. And maybe from then on, maybe they could reach Radiant and then become the next new big player, right? The possibility is endless, and not gonna lie, my team or my community. They're looking forward to it because we're definitely gonna be playing non-stop on the Premier.
Yeah, yeah. That is just one heck of a spectacle to watch out for, and definitely something that I'm looking at so far for the future of Valorant. But let's look on to the present, ladies and gentlemen, because I believe the next game of Anti-Heroes versus On Guard will be starting in a few seconds. So gear up, grab your snacks, grab every single drink that you could possibly have, because I believe we'll be locked in towards the next game in a matter of seconds. Caster JT, are you excited to look out for the next top team right here in Dubai, or are you just gonna have some fun? Just get some snacks of your own. Just watch some Valorant with me, because that's just the beauty of what we're doing right now.
And
Oh,
Shy. Shawarma and Shy. That's what you get, bro. That's what you get. I think we got
dude.
a bit of a glimpse on what the map would be. It seems like we are gonna be going to Icebox. Ooh, it's gonna be cold down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a change of pace. It's a change of environment from what we saw in Pearl, from what
Mhm.
people are used to in Dubai. It's a cold and chilly environment to push on an icy, chill battlefield just to fight for map secures and a very tight angles over at A, where everybody has to fight for every single point of 410 plus pipes and the ropes that's just one thing that you got to look out for. Who's roping on towards A site, right? That's the thing about A and on Icebox. It's just so claustrophobic that you have to swing on every single corner. On the B side, though, that's where every single type of fight will be happening on long range, and that's one of the things that they need to contest on forward. Well, we're heading in towards Agent Select so far. Icebox will be the map. We'll be expecting a lot of Jet players, possibly Sova. The high ceiling potential of the initiator picks happening for these teams. Then again, if they pick out a Yoru, I wouldn't be surprised or mad about it. That's just a really fun agent to watch, right, JT?
Definitely, but it's a big question mark. I've been playing a lot in Dubai servers, and hopefully, we got. I think they're more standardized in terms of like the picks that you're gonna have. Definitely, maybe we're gonna probably see a Sage here and there. I mean, in general, VCT, we've seen a lot of people play Sage and Icebox. They have their Sage walls, and I would love to see some Grim walls, right? Like those off-angle walls where you just don't see that pesky Sage coming. More or less, Viper has been a staple pick, right? Being able
Yeah.
to really have that wall up and running, make it much more difficult for people to play around against each other. Although I would love to see the agent selection, honestly, just
Yeah. We don't have a chance to take a look at the agent select as a whole, but we got the agents and the game right here on our faces on guard, starting on the CT side. Anti can attack and play the pace of the game however they want to go. It's a standardized position for everybody else on the team. A Sova, a Sage, as you mentioned, a Jet, just to equalize again for the entry frags. Anti-heroes, though, they got a different approach to this in terms of initiators. They want the short-range gunfights, especially now with another fade into the game we go. Anti-heroes starting on the T side. They push on with an aggressive takeover at pipes, but because of that noise, they're not able to convert themselves to the A side. Plus, they're locked out with the wall put down already from on guard. And that opens up a window. But Jet and the Humble Dream, they're able to get 2 picks with the headshots, make it 3. Jet with a double kill, Skadoosh with 4, and it's all looking so good on the defensive side.
I mean, 1v5, that's going to be an ace immediately, but everybody's peeking in all the angles. Broken Curse just looking around, hoping for the best, hopes to get at least those 1v1s. I guess that's the only thing that would work, but he sees where the Jet is, but does not commit on that peak. He's going to get hurt quite a bit. 10 HP in a gym, but dies in the hands of Trinyard. And there you have it, on guard. Nobody falters. Flawless round on their end. And I guess they are definitely on guard here on defending side.
It's pretty appropriate, right? The defense, they start off on CT, then their name is on guard, and if they actually aren't on their own guard, then they're gonna get caught for their pants down, right? But no, they were actually prepared, even though the Viper wall was put down a little bit too early for my liking. But because Jet and the Humble Dream were able to convert with those 2 picks, and plus the wall being put up at the right moment, just makes it so anti-heroes can't get any sort of map control around that 410 area because it was placed very carefully at a point where they need to push outside of the Viper wall. They need to contest even though they had a 3 versus 5 at the start of the round. But then again, anti-heroes, that hesitation, it just does not count for them. For Yab, though, able to catch one over to the Humble Dream, a nightmare in towards the Sova. Jet hurling the long angle, but does get spotted in the end by 2 picks, as well as the recon from the fade. This decides for them to regroup over towards B Green and contest against the long range angle from the Sage. But then again, a few of them don't have the most amount of guns, and they have to contest against the classics that they have in their hands.
Yeah, I do like how Cocaine is playing this. They're not looking forward to it, and jump shots from Broken Curse, hoping to get something done, but the damage at least is there. Meanwhile, you do see, the Sage, he's just around the corner. Cocaine getting that kill, at least finds one big damage for anti-heroes, dwindling their numbers down. Let's not forget, this is the buy round for on guard, so they have to make it work with the spike dropped already. There you have it, Jet getting killed there for Yab with the shot, 1-on-2. You just have to time it right with a double peek. It's not working out. We're going for the refrag, and there you have it, Skadoosh with the quad.
What a turnaround For On Guard, it was looking shaky at best towards the middle side of this round, but Skadoosh, 4K for him, a clutch just by the end of it. And as we thought, anti-heroes were able to steal it away. Unfortunately for them, it was another round for On Guard that resulted because of that Killjoy stealthily making towards the yellow side. Not expecting the peak outs for the CT side of players, so anti-heroes. At least they dealt a bit of damage that they need to. On Guard heavily saved because of that Killjoy, but they have to consider the amount of guns that they're running into this next round. If they lose these guns, then they are losing their economy as a whole. B Green being the hole to try to penetrate on through for the players on anti-heroes. But this is a very big risk because they're not even pulling any sort of movement and noise on the other side of the map. No, they're all 5 people towards that B site, and On Guard have to be ready for it.
Yeah, they have the setup, so they have the swarm. It's gonna be a bit more difficult. Probably they also have the lineup, so it's about on who can frag out quickly, who makes a mistake, and who oversteps their boundaries here. They're just waiting for time as the spike continues to tick. They do get the first shot there. Kamlesh West getting the kill towards Foryab. And Trinyard, they do have a smoke still up and running. Cocaine just left alone on towards the side, but gets one.
Yellow.
Could he find another? He's looking for the refrag, but not enough. Chat getting that kill. KCX, he does see from above, gets another, gets two though. 1v3, and there you have it. Anti-heroes. No chill in Icebox at all.
KSZ playing aim labs left and right. After they give away that yellow position because of a really good Viper wall, they regroup and they decide to push on. Just taking the fights one by one. Because they were focused on securing the spike defuse, that is a perfect cherry on top for anti-heroes. Because then again, they lost map control. They gave On Guard a false sense of security. Now, they're struggling. They're looking to take back what they lost in that third round. But with a very timely tack pause, they need this round. They need it, so they need to cripple whatever has been built up for anti-heroes. Their confidence definitely leveling up after a really good triple kill out from the fade of the attacking side. But they need a lot more to build off of that, since On Guard, their fragging potential is not to be laughing about. I think it's a really quick pause here. And I really like that we're also looking at the scoreboard, since it also gives you an idea of who will be able to provide a lot of value into this round right here. KSC, as you mentioned, front one guy in towards the yellow side who does reposition himself in a clutch moment. But you gotta also respect the fragging potential from Skadoosh. He's 1 point away from his ultimate. And if this mid push works out and you give a kill over to the Killjoy, then they will not be able to get any sort of map control, as anti-heroes will look towards an aggressive setup over A. So this mid push, it counts. It's every single chance that they have in towards this fourth round. And if they make it count, then this will be a really, really good round for them, as long as they are able to find the Viper on the mid side. Back towards the side push for 3 of the active players. But since they are on an eco, they could risk it all and push towards the mid side. The Humble Dream leading the charge. Five of the active players on guard. They rush on through, and because they're not able to find anybody on mid, they rotate on back, but it's an all-out war. The Marshall tap's not heading towards the head of the Viper. It's really good shots outside of Ayab, finding the Humble Dream, and they even get another onto Triniard, while JM Bazzi finding Jet, and that's another important frag right here. 1 versus 5, Skadoosh all alone with a classic in hand. He doesn't even have the turret to support himself. Has broken curse, just kills off his own twin, and a team ace. Everybody on anti-heroes getting the kill here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Skadoosh tried his best, right? He got a right click on towards a headshot, but it's just not enough damage to do anything on it. I mean, to capitalize. But nonetheless, it's gonna be a buy round for anti-heroes. This is where we have to see them bounce back from this. I mean, it's very necessary to do something up, or else you're going to be again on the back foot again, trying to climb your way up the mountain, up against anti-heroes. And it seems like anti-heroes got their ball rolling, and they figured out what works with them. With the positioning that we have on guard, though, this is something new.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to play the long range taps, but the Humble Dream, he finally finds Broken Curse, but at the end of it, Cocaine, he revives a fallen teammate after he picks up on the other side of the map. On guard, they're on the back foot. They go back towards the long range taps from the Jet. Can they capitalize on this? Can they snowball after a beautiful shot all the way over from Belt? It's the Viper spit put up by anti-heroes, but a double peak just overwhelms Ayab before he can even reposition. And a good Killjoy lockdown. They need to run out fast because they're going to get captured before they can win the round. But at the end of things, they don't detain anybody. They even cancel out that Viper spit, and they have full control over backside. JM Bazzi, that's 2 kills for the Viper and a 1 versus 4 out from the Killjoy. He started around with a beautiful tap on towards the bet area, but Broken Curse, he just denies him a 3-2, and anti-heroes now on the driver's seat.
I guess the nerds are really getting on towards on guard. They did have a fantastic killjoy, but it was just too late for them to do anything about it. Anti-heroes in control in the driver's seat, non-stop action. They know. I mean, at this point, they're just going rush A, right? Rush A. It seems like on guard has no clue on how to defend this side. Just take control, take advantage because they're back on eco. Oh, it's the battle of the kitchen knives here, buddy. Jimbazi is able to get that kill towards Jet. That was a bit funny, but I don't think they know where Humble Dream's just around the corner.
Oh my God.
He's able to get a shot here. That would be really good, but they're just killing them one after another. And as you can see, Foryab, he's just jumping in. He knows where the last player is. Gets a kill, gets a tap, and that is it, ladies and gentlemen. 2-4 already. Anti-heroes just wrecking havoc on the A side.
And you saw that small little timing that on guard were trying to use to insert that Viper over at jail just so that he could potentially have a really good timing onto these 3 players. Well, anti-heroes, they read the assignment. They checked every corner before they even jump on with an aggressive Ayab, just jumping with his knives up and down. An anime battle that resulted in anti-heroes winning it out in the end. Not the best of ending. Unfortunate for the heroes on guard, as you could expect from the attacking side. Ayab and the rest of the squad from anti-heroes are doing a lot of work comfortably so on the ace side as well. I mean, it's been so late into the round, but I haven't been seeing any sort of attempts to lurk. They all want to go for 5-man retakes, and this is valiant for anti-heroes, but they lose because of the long-range gunfights. No pressure from the back. They all focus on the front lines. Double kill for JM Bazzi as the lineup is perfect from the CT side, but nevertheless, Broken Curse with a double peak with Ayab. A 5th round win on guard. They have full control over the A site push.
Yep, yeah, okay. Just so you guys know, they finally fixed the names. They switched it up. So the defending teams is anti-heroes, the attackers are on guard. Okay. Thank you for chat. I see you guys in chat talking about it. They were able to fix it immediately. Thank you for noticing that. And now we can finally tell who's ahead and who is not. And it seems like on guard, they are attacking, but boy oh boy, they are definitely taking the driver's seat and continuing to get more rounds after rounds under their name. Because at this
Yeah.
point, what does anti-heroes have to answer now? They're having difficulties just holding that side. They know it's coming, but they still falter to the pressure that On Guard is giving.
You know, I kind of understand since they have a pretty stable killjoy on the T side, where even if you try to attempt for the lurk, they'll find out anyway. But with the playstyle for on guard, they've been all focused on front lines, and even if they play post plant, they're in positions where they're more focused on the lineup rather than the person
Mhm,
who's attacking right behind them. So if they
mhm,
attempt at least one round to try to flank, destroy the killjoy gadgets, and you don't even need to commit to the flank, you just have to let them know that there's the threat of a flank coming in before it even happens. But you
mhm.
could just rush on back towards A and use that conditioning to full effect with a 5-man retake yet again. I just want to see them try to do that. Anti-heroes have been playing again as a team, which is understandable, but you gotta have to, I guess, respect the fact that they have been playing that 5-man rush every single time because anti-heroes haven't been playing the close angles to threaten any sort of 5-man rushes. Now they do. It's a full force out for the three players on anti-heroes. They try to set up with the
Oh,
Marshall,
what?
but with the Ghost, that's the one that gets that first blood. KSZ. He trades it up immediately and finding the jet will slow down the push. But what more can anti-heroes do with the low buy and with the lesser guns?
Yeah, they're even gonna use the Nightfall there just to take control of the side. And they're finally doing what you just said right now, that Femina. We have Killjoy lurking from behind, getting ready to at least threaten that possibility that he's gonna be going on. And I don't think they know. He's just there. He's just waiting for an opportunity to strike. Skadoosh. Just find the moment. Here you go. He's gonna go for the shot, but gets denied
Ooh,
immediately. Foriab. He had the right strategy, but Foriab was just ahead of the game here. As we do have see a lot of players having their
no.
ultimates, it's just not working in the hands of Cocaine, stopping them at their track as KSZ dominating this entire round. Attackers have another round in their name, 6-2, non-stop a side attack only. It's like that game where you just talk about rush B, but no, brother, we go rush A, brother, rush A.
No, because again, it was the first time that they were able to flank this round, and I like the patience out here from the Killjoy. The problem was that Ayab was just self aware. He was comfortable into already giving the space over to on guard with the amount of eyes that they have over the front lines that he was the one who actually initiated that front to back position. But Cocaine starting off with a beautiful shot from the wall bang, but they never check their corners. And Triniard, he gets a double. The humble dream just decides to get another here as Ayab, him with the Sage. The last two people from on guard, but now they contest with four. Skadoosh destroying Cocaine, and it's all on Ayab, the lone wanderer, the only jet that can force out the 1v4 clutch required out of him. 6 HP in a dream, take down because of Kamlesh West, and eventually will fall as the Sage will spray on through the smoke and equalize again. A third round win, finally breaking the streak for on guard.
I mean, definitely signs of life happening on anti-heroes. They needed that win. They needed a victory, or else their souls are, that crushing defeat. Trying to stop the inevitable, and they finally have done it. They knew it was coming. They just did not know how to stop it. But now they have answers. Now they have ways to just make sure it does not happen one after another. But it doesn't seem like On Guard was hurt by it at all. They're just continuing on. Buddy, I like this. They're not afraid to take a fight. I mean, yeah, we lost a round, but who cares? Let's just keep going. Let's just show them we're that dominating in this match up against anti-heroes. Clear sight
Yeah.
again given to the hands of On Guard. And I think he wanted to go for the peak here and find a kill, but not gonna happen. The wall has been raised. Security guard duty, that is Cocaine, stopping them at their tracks. Viper spit as well from JM Bazzi. Only time can tell if they have the answer here to stop the tracks. That is on guard. Oh, you get a kill here on towards Cocaine. Ayab almost gonna get hurt, but Hunter's Fury, but it's not gonna get stopped at all. Shorty at hand though. Rather interesting to put up, but their shots have been fired. 2 kills for Jimbazi. Looking for a quad. Never mind. A triple, baby. Anti-heroes
Oh
left
my
alone
god.
with 2. Left alone with 2. Spike is sticking. They have to go for the peak to get the shot, and they have it. On guard. They are not about the B side. It's all about the A side, buddy. All about the A side.
We haven't seen any shred of B site pushes, but it is an all-out war on the A site itself. On guard, a superior control of back site. This meant that they only needed one place to go through that's safe. It is around the 410 area, but they decide to go through the long con, find themselves a Viper, but with the short range gun and with that threat of the Viper spit, they walk into a shorty, they get 2 picks, and they're not able to convert with more because after they kill off the Viper, they are all left with 2 more. Anti-heroes back on the B site and everybody else on guard. They try to aggress through really good mollies as well as the setup, and in a matter of time they can even force themselves another B site push, and now that they do, they force anti-heroes again for another 5-man retake. But with Skadoosh, they have that ultimate, and that Killjoy lockdown could be put to good use. They're forced out towards yellow and they're all in green later into the round.
Yeah, they can't stay here. Maybe Cocaine's gonna try at least get one done. Meanwhile, Humble Dream with a classic. I don't know how's that gonna work out, but you can see the kill feed already. Trinyard making it work with the lineup, getting 1. Still not enough. They need to get more. KSZ finding a kill, finding another 2v1. Viper spit. Will it work out? Trinyard trying his best, but he got tagged down quite a bit. Classic already jumping in. Broken Curse. They have stopped them on their tracks. And they all die in shambles, losing any piece of gun in their hands. On guard. 8 rounds on their name, and it's looking like it might even go to 9-3 Curse.
You might as well call the yellow area KSZ because it's the second time that he has proved to be the headshot machine. You put him at yellow, he's the best. You put him anywhere else, he is delivering. Anywhere else on the map, the Icebox King. And KSZ for on guard. A beautiful 3K yet again. They could go back to their winning ways. They could go back to what they're comfortable on. A tight push where they started, and this is where it all ends for the first half. Jet, though, a headshot, dismantling Broken Curse, and that opens up any lurking potential for anti-heroes later on in the round.
They're finally getting something first. You know, the first blood, that's what they need to get it rolling on their end, stopping them at their tracks. This time, A side is not for free. It's not up for the taking. You guys got to do something else now. Maybe go towards mid, maybe go towards B, but stubbornness, it seems like they do want to continue towards A. There's just a... You do have to go for the pick if you want to do so. Revive is there. They got the Resurrect. 5v5 again. And I don't think they're going to expect this. Is he already down towards Shub? He's going to go for the shot, but dies in the hands of Skadoosh.
The hold from Kitchen, the patience from the Killjoy, and they rush on to the B side after the fact. Camlish West just overwhelmed by the amount of util, but Camlish West through the smoke, just destroying Broken Curse before he can push on. The second round in a row that Broken West has been shut down before he lays his hands and grounds on the A-B site. And now into the 3 versus 5. KSZ is back to where he's more comfortable with a headshot to Camlish West, but that's more than what he needed out of him. The Humble Dream and Jet picking off moves after moves. Cocaine with 2, a Cocaine with 3, 1 versus 1, and it's all on the Jet. As he wraps around towards that green side, he has little time and little space. He defuses back. He tries and taps, but he is canceled out because Cocaine is so good on his post plant. But with the right click, it doesn't hit. 4K for Cocaine. A clutch, a 1v4 that results in the 9-3.
Sage, I got you. That delivers A what was that 1v4 on Cocaine's end? The with three was that 3 HP as well? Jeez Louise, Cocaine. You can see on the scoreboard right now, KSZ and Cocaine, the last two survivors during that, I guess, that round. 12 kills. Everybody is bringing up the frags in this team on guard. Tremendous plays on every single player. But this time, it's going to be a switcheroo in the second half of things. What does anti-heroes have to offer as attackers? What can they provide as Ayab? He goes for the peak, goes for the cheeky headshot if he could find it. But they know where he is, tries to tag them down quite a bit, and he does the job there, right? He gets it, he gets them rather low, and he moves away immediately.
That's some initial info, at least. Little damage done towards Ramsey, and that makes him hesitate to even put a step further in towards the matchup. And I like that KSZ has full confidence in the Sheriff, is that's the one weapon that you do not expect on Initiator like Fade. Usually would go for a Ghost, or at least a Classic if you want full util, but no. He decides to go gung-ho into this and try to go for the one-taps. Cocaine, though, he's the one locking down this mid-side. Usually you would see and expect the Viper to do that because he has the Poison Orb to try to lock away any sort of mid-angles.
Ooh, timing.
But Skadoosh, the perfect timing. He puts himself inside Tube and immediately will be a threat towards On Guard if they're not aware of this. Skadoosh is so far in towards Kitchen that this is a mole inside of the CT side. As JM Bazzi holding down the line over at A, an aggressive takeover from anti-heroes. This is perfect because now Skadoosh can fire and the one tap onto Cocaine is more than enough. But JM Bazzi, he's the guy, the mole rat over at Generator.
No way!
1, 2, 3 punches out
He's
for
not
On
dying!
Guard. A 1v3 and it's JM Bazzi who shuts it home.
This guy's immortal, buddy. Everyone saw him. It's like an interview. One by one, they all fall down in the end of Jambazi. And you know what's awkward? He was reloading during it as well. And he still did not die. On guard, Jambazi, everybody. I don't know. I'm at a loss of words here, Dafamina. Because anti-heroes, this is not the start you were looking for in the second half.
Beautiful turnaround. Anti-heroes are not able to convert to any sort of pistol round. A needed pistol round. Far needed from what's required out of them. This time, they have to fight only the force by Cocaine and Broken Curse. Oh my god, the damage they have dealt towards that orange side. A lot of bodies up from anti-heroes. It's all left to Skadoosh again. Something you expect from them. And they're just playing with their food right now. They know where he is. The Molly. It's going to burn Skadoosh alive. A flawless victory. And anti-heroes, they do not live for this round, but of course, fight for another day.
Insult to injury, buddy. I mean, that's one way to die. Utils from the snake bite. They're just predicting every single time on how anti-heroes are going to be playing it. 3-11 already. Now they finally have guns under their names, but they have to figure out how to attack and how to approach the side because it almost seems like they're playing musical sides. A, okay, maybe not A, maybe go B, maybe go mid. Like they're struggling and how I guess this planning on where do you want to go, and there you have it. Skadoosh, he had a gun on his hand. He could have fought instead, but now Jambazi gets a gun of his own and although they do trade it out, KSC, they thought they had the power here on bringing it forth, but it's not working out. 4v3 makes it a bit much more easier for anti-heroes to play around with. Azayab, he's there. He has, he he has a Sheriff, full on confidence, goes for the peaks, wants to make a play, but he runs back. Wait for your team. They are expecting this. They already know what's happening. They're waiting for the opportunity to get the plant up and running with that wall. Good placement, I guess. But Broken Curse finding that kill, looking for it. That's so close yet so far. Kamlich West, though, answers back, bringing it to a 3-on-2. Cocaine, the shot, it does not connect. Ayab, though, at least trades it out. It's still possible, right? 1-on-2 anti-heroes. They are ahead, but you don't want Ayab to find the opportunity to strike here to get that 1v1s. They have to play for the crossfire. But it doesn't seem like they're playing for crossfire at all. They don't know where he is. He's going to go for the peak, but dies though. Unlucky for Ayap, but nonetheless a round necessarily needed for anti-heroes to slowly climb back that mountain that they are so far on deep.
And I feel like it was just offered to them on a silver platter too, because on guard, although they found the mistake a flaw into a default setup for anti-heroes. The killjoy onto the mid side. He could have demanded for a viper smoke or at least a poison orb towards mid, just so they're not able to seek him out and even put a lot of threat towards the mid push, right? But because there wasn't any poison orb or any sort of pressure from that mid push, they are able to triple peek him. But that's also the flaw into on guard because they over peaked, they over pushed after the kill. They would have been co- committed or at least contented with that one kill, and they'd have
Mhm.
fallen back towards the A side push, where that's actually where they wanted to go for. That's a heroes playing off of that momentum again, giving themselves another round, extending the game to a 4-11 score. B Green, lots of noise, lots of footsteps. You could see the amount of frustration that they've had all throughout this game, cashing it back towards this B Green push, and even putting a lot of noise and money in towards B Green, slowly walking up to possibly get yellow control as well. This is a lot of pressure on them because if they do win this round, then even if like they lose, right, they're not going to be able to have a lot of money. So
True.
that's another cycle of them trying to eco, especially on the last round where definitely they need to make this count.
Yes, and now I guess they're still trying to have a difficult time. I guess for anti-heroes, they haven't necessarily planted the spike. They did have the setups up and running, but there you have it. I am finding that kill with an operator, despite it not gonna get planted. It just feels like they're getting too much pressured as the time is dwindling. 20 seconds remaining. Spike is nowhere to be seen as we see Broken Curse pushing in towards them, and there you have it. Match point and a flawless one for on guard. Oh, they played with the time. They had the setups, but I guess it has to go on the pressure that they are on. They're feeling cold feet here in Icebox. They have to warm things up in their hands there in their area because right now, with the buy that they have, it's not a lot. It's barely anything.
No, yeah, I mean only two rifles to try to contest against on guard fired up, and they want to end this just so they could get themselves to round two of our tournament, and looking possibly so, inevitably so. Look at the setup here from Cocaine, just locking away this setup over to the B tube push. That's not where the attention is. Anti-hero is back towards the B green site. Slow take, contact play happening. You look at that turret, then they already know it's going to be the push out for Big Green. So on guard, they are literally on guard on every sector of this yellow area. Broken Curse with the long angle and forcing himself very close towards Jet, but the flick was so perfect and
Oh,
locking away Broken Curse and Cocaine from the game. 5 versus 3, and this is what they've hoped for. On guard, they are crippled with two of their players down, and it's all counting down on JM Bazzi and how he peaks on a yellow, giving space and time for the plant to come down.
the retake though, it's gonna be super hard. But they're just gonna go, they're just gonna go rush in and just find the frags that they can. Although the repeats will be there, Kamish was getting that first kill. KSC answering back, but 14 HP, not a lot for him to say, and a lot of players still on the other side. I mean, you have an operator, and you don't really necessarily want to rush with an operator, and that's the
Oh!
reason why Jet getting a quad for his team. Anti